This is chapter 22, video lecture number 3. Today we're just going to discuss ethers and ketones. So on page 35, ethers are, again, as everything in this chapter, organic compounds, but these contain an oxygen atom bonded between two carbon atoms. There is no hydrogen bonding in an ether like there is in an alcohol. Each group attached is listed in alphabetical order. So if we have methanol, this would contain a hydrogen bond because H is attached to O. But in dimethyl ether, there is an oxygen atom, but it's not bonded to a hydrogen, it's bonded to a carbon. So if we have ethyl methyl ether, here is our ethyl group, here is our methyl group, and we list them alphabetically even though methyl is smaller. So ethyl methyl ether. So if we have a carbon oxygen carbon, and the carbon has 3 H's, so it's a methyl group, and the other carbon has 3 H's, so it is a methyl group, we would call this dimethyl for the two methyl groups ether. If we draw 3 carbons on one side, 2 carbons on the other side of the oxygen. Remember, carbon has to have 4 bonds. Continue with the H's. Then we have to the left a propyl group because of the 3 carbons. To the right we have an ethyl group, so we would call this ethyl propyl ether. So the next functional group belongs to the ketones. The carbon attached to the carbonyl group, remember that's a carbon double bonded to an O, is attached to 2 other carbons. So this R would represent one carbon and the rest of its molecule, and this R would represent another carbon. An aldehyde has a double bonded O on the end carbon. A ketone has a double bonded O, but the carbon it's attached to has to be attached to 2 other carbons, one on each side. So here we see the smallest member of the ketones has to have 3 carbons, and it is called propanone. We really don't have to call it 2-propanone because it has to be on the middle carbon. And we don't even have to call it 2-butanone. There are 4 carbons with a double bonded O, but no matter which of the inner carbons it's attached to, it would be the second carbon. So some examples. There is 3 carbons. This would be the smallest member. Remember, the double bonded O will give that middle carbon 4 bonds. And then we can finish the molecule with the rest of the bonds being H's. So 3 carbons is propane, so this is propanone, which is also called acetone, which is fingernail polish remover. If we draw 5 carbons, now this time I'm going to put the double bonded O on the second carbon. We complete the structure with H's, and that each carbon has 4 bonds. So this is pentanone because of the 5 carbons. And we have to say 2-pentanone because the double bonded O is on the second carbon, because in this case it could be on that middle carbon, in which case it would be 3-pentanone. And that's it for this lecture, so we'll see you in class.